Even after the nerf, the swarm is still very strong, and today I'm going to show you some positions that you could be using to maximize your effectiveness and, you know, maybe get out of rust or even tin, or at least for you to be aware of the angles a swarm player might have on you and you didn't know. Also, I will only be showing maps in the clan war pool because that's the competitive mode, and some maps don't have any fancy spots, but I'll still try to give some tips anyway. And like all good creators, I'm going to make you wait until the very end before I show you the most mediocre thing you very well could have lived without. That's not true, they're just in some random order. Alright, so we're starting off with bridge. So the first position we'll talk about is up here on this corner. From here, you get angles on anyone that wants to play up there, anyone that wants to swing out over here, and anyone that plays up on there. I should also mention you want your stick to be pretty much as tall as you can. The taller you can get it, the more cheese you get out of these positions. And also try and play with your camera steer off because you can do stuff like this. And very similar with this side as well. Bit less cover, but same thing. You can cover that part up there, over there, anyone that wants to play here, and any hovers that want to play up the top there. Remember when you're on bridge as well, you can do this as a hover, you know, if you ever need to. Alright, we move on to power plant. If you spawn on this side of the map, be very careful peeking this. You can come here for the first volley or two, but I wouldn't recommend staying for more than that. You just don't win the trade. What I do recommend doing is if you're going to play defensive, you can play around here. Usually if you have a lower stick, you pretty much have full control of this area without showing yourself, or you can play over here if you want. This is also still pretty good. But of course, if you play aggressive, you know, it's pretty self-explanatory. You just sit around here, play around the trains, do whatever. If you're playing on this side, however, you just play here. You have full control of everything over there. So anyone playing on that corner, and on playing on that corner, it's very difficult to see when a swarm shot is coming. It's difficult to even use your third-person camera. But anyone that wants to peek out here, you can hit. Literally anyone there, you can hit. This pipe doesn't even matter. Against spider teams, this map can be very annoying. They tend to sit up here if they're on this side. There's not much you can do, but try get into this spot here without using your cloak. Get like 2 shots off before mandrakes start coming in. You can cloak away, either go back that way, or even play aggressive. Sit here. If you're on the other side, very similar. They tend to play in that corner up here, so you can sit here. If they sit in that corner, it's even better, you know. Alright, for ship graveyard, you want to make sure you learn your... What the fuck? Yeah, you want to learn your pre-fires, right? Just there, off spawn. The second you see that, make sure you shoot. Like, 9 times out of 10, I'm getting like 2,000 damage on anyone. After that, try make your way over to this position. You pretty much have map control in this whole area, and if they want to dig you out, they usually have to come through here, which you can just kite back to your team. And if they leave you alone, I mean, you're just getting free damage otherwise. If you're on this side, there's a spawn that's very up front. It's around here, and you can see them from here. You can see their spawn from here. So again, learn your pre-fires. If it's like a spider clan, the backpack player can sometimes be there, and you can kill them before they even get the backpack on. Otherwise, pre-fire here if you want to. Again, probably like 8 out of 10 times that hits. But what you should be doing if you don't want to do that is come play on this corner, play anywhere around here, because this forces everyone off that corner. A lot of hover players love sitting on that corner. If you're fighting a spider team, you can play around here. If you're, you know, this spawn, they're up there. Play around here, you know, you can shoot it from there. And if they have a toe, the toe cannot reach you unless it has the +1 second fuse, which I found that out the hard way. What you can do if they don't have a toe and you want to play a bit aggressive, you can sit here and do this. Just be careful of mandrake. If you wanted to play from this angle, you sit on this bridge. Again, you've got fine angles. Just be careful of mandrake. Make sure you're always moving. Playing on this side, if you were red team, spider team is blue team down here, you know, you can sit here. Careful of toes. You could also play here if you wanted behind this bridge. Again, be careful of toes, but you might be okay. I'm actually not too sure if the toe has enough range. And of course, careful of mandrakes. A quick bonus tip. If you're blue team, you spawn here. There are some very aggressive EU teams that love taking this. You can sit here and you have full control of all this. Parallel with the wall, you have full control of all this. And I think that is ship graveyard, mostly covered. Now Founders Canyon does have some silly spots. You can sit here. You have full clearance of this, and over there. I don't play here very often. I'm not a fan of red line camping, and we're a pretty aggressive team. But there are some teams that love taking this area, and you can punish them sitting here for that. This side is very similar, probably a bit better. You have full clearance of this, and this, and all of this up here as well. Now, spider teams usually aren't a big problem on this map, but some angles you can use and abuse are here. You have control of that entire area down there. You have this spot. The angle's a bit tighter, but you are safe from toes. And it's pretty much mirrored for the other spawn. This side's actually a little bit better. You got this. Got this. Again, be careful of toes. And same thing. Sit here. Sit there. When playing on Sandy Gulf, the fight usually always ends up at someone's spawn. So a few spots you can play are like here. You are pretty safe for the most part, but you could also just play here. I wouldn't recommend these spots because if they're looking on the map, they're playing here. They can see that you're here, you're very clearly lining up a shot. They're not going to peek anything, so you're not getting any value. You can play here. Now, a lot of people are unaware of swarm angles, so you can play here and they see that you're kind of pushing up. They're gonna try and catch you out. So they swing and push. You have a full angle of them and you just drop back. Kite them into your team. It's happened plenty of times. A quick boner tip, if you're playing levies, Leviathans usually struggle to get up in here. So you can play up around here. Be a bit silly. If you have the south spawn, make sure you are learning your pre-fires. Around there is usually good. I'd say 70% of the time that's doing damage to people. And if the fight ends up on this spawn, same thing as the other one. Sit here, you have pretty much full clearance of this entire area without showing yourself. If you want a tighter angle down here, you can sit here and you're pretty safe. If you're on Fortress and you're playing on this side, the side with the minor Erdtree, avoid this area at all costs. This, if you're playing Leviathans. Do not go in there. We call it the Skull Zone. You will die if you go in there. If you're fighting a team that is playing on what we call the EU hills, a good place you can sit in to counter that is here. You can, and they're playing on the hill, you can get direct hits on them, again without showing any part of yourself. As so. Other than that, Fortress doesn't have a lot. You sort of just play around the map. On Old Town, you can literally just sit anywhere. It's Old Town, but there are two pre-fires you want to learn. Here, if they're aggressive, pushing here. And if you got the south spawn over here, this right here. This probably hits like 9 out of 10 times. Usually cripples a hover instantly, and I'm not joking. Ashen Ring. We can say a big fuck you to this map. This map is arse. If you're playing on Nameless Tower, this map is also arse, but there are a few things you should be doing. Play on the bridge, but don't stay too long. Get a few shots off. You got decent angles. But yeah, I wouldn't stay too long. You're gonna get jumped. If the enemy team is very aggressive, play around this hill. This hill's very strong. Otherwise, you just need to be proactive and play around the map. If you spawn on the other side over here, I like to come here and pre-fire any hovers that want to go onto the bridge. Once you get your shots off here, again, just play around the map. On Peaceful Atom, there's a few positions that you can play. If you're on this side, you play around here. You don't have much of a choice. Play around here is really good. And if your team is getting aggressive, you can play up here. That's about it. If you're playing on Antenna though, just be careful of anyone that might be playing around the sides there. And if you spawn on the opposite side, where red base is at the moment, you can sit here, get shots into any hovers playing on these corners, or anyone that's playing aggressive around Antenna. You can do the normal sit here, shoot any hovers playing up there, shoot anyone playing on that corner. And if you want to be aggressive, you can sit around these containers here. ILikeCatGirls, I feel like there could be tech on this map, but I'm kind of just shit at it, so I don't know. If you're on Clean Island, you want to take their bridge. That is your goal, pretty much. You get on their bridge, you win. Especially in the lower ranks, you just take their bridge, you should win. If you're versing some EU 1-ping hover kite clan, they're most likely just going to kite back onto your bridge. Just keep up the pressure and just get them off the bridge. You want to make sure that you have bridge control, and you should just win, because height on this map is key, pretty much, especially with Swarm. Another boner tip is to learn what the opponents like doing. After playing some matches, you start figuring out what certain teams like doing. Try and force that away from them. If you're on Fortress and you see the team you're fighting, you're like, oh, these guys like playing on the EU hills. Instead of just playing how you would normally play, go and take those hills from them. Make them uncomfortable. This is just one example on one map, but it applies to pretty much every map and every team. That's pretty much it. I hope you learned something from this video, and please give clan wars a go, especially if you're on PC. With the current meta, you don't need relics. Get some whirls, swarms, mammoths, Narwhalakari, reapers, cyclones, Athenas. Any of these on a semi-decent build, you can very well get to bronze. And the more players playing clan wars, the easier it will be to get to bronze, in theory. And if you don't know how to build, my friend ILikeCatGirls has been and should be making some more building guide videos to help you. Yeah, that's it. Bye bye.